It had been months of silence, months of unanswered questions, rumors, and quiet speculation surrounding Tong Liya and Jerry Yen. Fans had seen glimpses of their connection, from secret meetups to emotional interviews that hinted at something more, but neither had ever confirmed or denied anything. Then, finally, Tong Liya broke her silence. And when she did, her words stopped everyone in their tracks. It happened during a live interview promoting her latest film. The host, known for his bold questions, brought up Jerry Yan's name carefully. "There have been a lot of talks about you and Jerry Yan lately," he said. "People are curious, what's really going on between you two?" Tong Liya paused. The studio fell silent. Her expression softened, and for the first time, she didn't deflect. She simply took a breath and said, "Sometimes the most meaningful connections aren't meant to be explained. They're meant to be felt." The interviewer pressed further. "So, would you say that Jerry Yan is someone special to you?" Tong Liya smiled gently. "He's someone who has seen me in my quietest moments and still chose to stay." That one sentence was all it took. Within minutes, social media exploded. The clip spread like wildfire. Fans flooded timelines with messages like, "She finally said it," and "Tong Liya just confirmed what we've all known." But that was just the beginning. Later that evening, Tong Liya posted a short note on her official page. "For years, I've learned that some people don't walk into your life to change it. They walk in to remind you who you really are." Attached was a black and white photo of her sitting by the sea, gazing into the distance. Within minutes, fans noticed the small bracelet on her wrist, the same one Jerry Yen had been seen wearing in a previous interview. Coincidence? Hardly anyone believed that. Media outlets across Asia began dissecting every word, every gesture. Analysts recalled how Tong Liya and Jerry Yen had grown close during a charity project the previous year. Their chemistry, even then, was undeniable. They laughed easily together, supported each other through long shoots, and were often spotted sharing quiet moments away from the cameras. What no one knew at the time was that their friendship had quietly deepened into something real, something neither of them was ready to label publicly. Insiders later revealed that Tong Liya had gone through a tough personal period before reconnecting with Jerry Yen. He had been a source of comfort, often checking in, sending encouraging notes, and making time to listen when she needed someone most. He never pushed, never demanded, just stayed present. He gave her peace, one insider shared. And that meant more than any grand gesture. When Tong Liya spoke about him during that interview, it wasn't scripted. It wasn't planned. It was raw emotion spilling out after months of silence. That's why fans believed her words so deeply. For many, it wasn't just confirmation of a relationship. It was proof that genuine connection still existed in an industry often built on image and mystery. Jerry Yan, true to his calm and private nature, didn't respond immediately. But 3 days later, during a promotional appearance in Taiwan, a reporter asked him directly about Tong Liya's remarks. He smiled faintly and said, "When someone speaks from the heart, you don't need to correct or add anything. I'm just grateful to have her in my life." That single response reignited the internet once more. "They're in love," fans declared. "This is their soft confirmation." Others praised how mature and respectful they were, handling their bond with quiet strength rather than flashy declarations. Soon after, the two were seen attending a private art exhibit together. They didn't arrive hand in hand, but those who were there noticed how naturally they gravitated toward each other. Tong Liya laughed freely around him, her body language open and relaxed. Jerry Yen, ever the gentleman, walked beside her protectively, guiding her through the crowd with subtle care. Photographs of that night spread across fan pages, and every image seemed to tell the same story. Two people comfortable in their truth, no longer hiding, no longer pretending. What made the moment even more touching was Tong Liya's follow-up interview a few weeks later. When asked again about love and companionship, she said softly, "I've learned that love isn't about perfection. It's about presence. When someone chooses to understand you even when you're silent, that's when you know it's real." It was as if every sentence she spoke carried pieces of Jerry Yan's name, even when she didn't say it aloud. Behind the scenes, sources claimed their relationship had grown stronger in privacy. They had agreed to keep things simple, focusing on mutual respect, trust, and healing. They both value peace, one friend explained. They've been through enough in life to know that love isn't always about loud declarations. Sometimes it's about quiet consistency. Despite the rumors and endless fan theories, neither of them ever made an official announcement. But they didn't need to. Their eyes, their gestures, their mutual admiration told the story louder than words ever could. Months later, at an award show, fate once again placed them in the same room. When Tong Liya's film won an award for Best Emotional Performance, she took the stage gracefully. As she gave her speech, she said, "To those who stood by me when the cameras weren't rolling, thank you for reminding me that strength is gentleness in disguise." The camera panned across the audience, and there he was, Jerry Yan, clapping proudly, a soft smile lighting up his face. That moment was enough for the world to know, no matter what labels people tried to place on them, what they shared was real. It was built on understanding, mutual respect, and a love that didn't need validation. In a world obsessed with attention, Tong Liya and Jerry Yan reminded everyone that true love speaks quietly, through kindness, support, and authenticity. After that unforgettable award night, Tong Liya and Jerry Yan's connection deepened in ways neither of them had planned. The quiet understanding that had always existed between them slowly grew into a steady rhythm, something gentle, real, and completely unforced. Away from the cameras and the noise of fame, they began building something that felt like home. In the months that followed, they were often seen together, not in flashy restaurants or public events, but in quiet, ordinary places. A small cafe by the river, a local flower market early in the morning, sometimes even walking in the park with hats pulled low and masks on, sharing coffee as if the world didn't exist. Fans who spotted them described the same thing every time: calmness. No pretense, no hurry. Just two people who looked genuinely at peace in each other's company. Tong Liya had always been known for her grace and strength, but lately, those who worked with her noticed a change. She smiled more. Her laughter came easier. During interviews, she spoke with a warmth that hinted at inner contentment. When one reporter complimented her glow, she simply replied, "Peace makes you beautiful." When you have someone who makes you feel seen, that's where real beauty comes from. Jerry Yan, too, was changing. The man once known for his quiet solitude was now more open, more grounded. He talked about gratitude more often, about learning to live in the present. During a fan event, when asked what happiness meant to him, he paused and said, "Happiness isn't about having everything. It's about sharing small moments with someone who understands your silence." Everyone in the room knew who he was talking about. Despite their closeness, Tong Liya and Jerry Yin never confirmed their relationship publicly. They didn't need to. Their gestures spoke louder than any words. On Tong Liya's birthday, fans noticed a simple post on Jerry's social media, a picture of a single sunflower and a caption that read, "To the one who always brings light." It was subtle, yet powerful. Tong Liya responded hours later with a photo of the same flower on her desk and a heart emoji. The internet didn't need confirmation. It already had proof. But it wasn't all easy. Fame always comes with eyes watching too closely. Rumors began spreading that their relationship was just for publicity, while others accused them of hiding something bigger. Tong Liya remained calm through it all. She never addressed the noise, never reacted online. Instead, she continued focusing on her projects, pouring her energy into acting and charity work. Jerry Yan, on the other hand, was fiercely protective. Insiders revealed that he privately asked his team to keep her name out of unnecessary headlines, wanting to shield her from the chaos that comes with public speculation. One evening, after a long day of filming, Tong Liya received a surprise visit. Jerry had been away for weeks, filming overseas, but he showed up quietly at her studio. No cameras, no fanfare, just him, holding 2 cups of tea and a warm smile. "You looked tired in your last interview," he said softly. "So I thought I'd bring you something warm." Tong Liya laughed, touched by the gesture. "You flew across the sea just for tea." He smiled. "For tea, and for you." Moments like these defined their love. Simple, genuine. As the year went on, they began collaborating again, not on screen, but through philanthropy. Together, they launched a foundation supporting underprivileged children who wanted to pursue the arts. During the launch event, both gave heartfelt speeches, thanking each other for their shared vision. It started as an idea, Tong Liya said, but it became something meaningful because of teamwork and understanding. Jerry added, sometimes the best partnerships come from mutual respect, not plans. The crowd cheered as the two shared a brief hug on stage, and though the moment was brief, it carried the kind of authenticity that no script could replicate. Behind the scenes, their friends noticed how inseparable they had become. Jerry was often seen waiting for Tong Liya after her shoots, walking her to her car, or helping her rehearse lines late at night. She, in turn, made sure to support his work quietly, attending screenings of his projects and sending encouraging messages before big appearances. Then came the day that melted the hearts of fans everywhere, a special interview Jerry Yin gave to celebrate his career milestone. Near the end, the host asked, if you could thank one person who has made the biggest difference in your life recently, who would it be? Jerry hesitated for a moment, then said softly, there's someone who reminds me what it means to live sincerely. She doesn't need to be named. She already knows. Hours later, Tong Liya posted on her account, sometimes you don't need to hear your name to know you're being spoken about. The comment section exploded. It was subtle, poetic, and undeniably connected. Fans knew they didn't need confirmation anymore. Their relationship wasn't about grand declarations or viral headlines. It was about depth, trust, and mutual healing. They had both experienced heartbreak and loss, and somehow, life brought them together at the perfect time. Months later, the couple took a short break from the spotlight and traveled together. They weren't hiding anymore, just living quietly. A few fans spotted them in Europe, walking hand in hand through narrow streets, visiting art museums, and laughing freely like any ordinary couple. Those photos became some of the most shared images online, captioned simply, love, in its quietest form. When they returned home, Tong Liya was asked if she believed in destiny. She smiled softly and said, I believe in timing. Sometimes the right person comes back into your life when you've both learned enough to love gently. Jerry Yin echoed that sentiment in a later interview. Love isn't about starting over. It's about continuing where the heart paused. As months passed, they began appearing together more openly, attending cultural events, supporting each other's projects, and even participating in talk shows that discussed love, patience, and personal growth. Their maturity and warmth inspired many fans, who saw in them a reflection of love that wasn't built on perfection, but understanding. In a rare joint interview near the end of the year, Tong Liya summed it up beautifully. We've both lived through storms, but sometimes the storm brings you the person who helps you see the sun again. Jerry smiled at her and simply said, she's my calm after the rain. That single exchange became one of the most replayed moments online, symbolizing the quiet power of their love. Their story was no longer just about two celebrities. It was about healing, timing, and finding peace in someone who understands your silence. This is K-Drama Cycle, bringing you the continuing journey of Tong Liya and Jerry Yin, a love story that proves you don't need to shout to be heard. Sometimes, the heart speaks loudest in whispers, and the most beautiful relationships are the ones that grow quietly, away from the spotlight, yet shine brighter than ever.